If you've come to this lesson hoping to learn about modal auxiliary verbs, you've come to the right place. And this lesson is specifically about how to use modal auxiliary verbs to express politeness, permission, possibility, advice, and requests. So that's what this lesson is about, and we're going to be using the modal auxiliary verbs can, could, may, should, and would. You might be asking yourself, why? Why do I need to learn modal auxiliary verbs in English? It's because they're important in modifying the meaning of the main verb of a sentence. So I'll give you an example. If I say something like, he goes, that's in the present simple tense, and it just means, well, it could mean something like a habit. He goes every day, he goes once a week, or something like that. But if I want to introduce the ability to that verb and change it so that it just means he is able to, I could say, he can go. When you put the modal auxiliary verb can in the sentence, it changes the main verb so that it doesn't mean something is a habit in the present simple tense. It just means that he has the ability to go. To start off this lesson, I'd like to make sure that you can pronounce all of these modal auxiliary verbs correctly. So try repeating each verb after me. I'll say each verb twice, leaving you time to practice pronouncing it. Repeat after me. Can. Can. Could. Could. May. May. Should. Should. Would. Would. There are some grammar rules that are common to all modal auxiliary verbs, and one of these is that they always appear first in a verb phrase within a sentence. And there has to be another verb there. That's why they're called modal auxiliary verbs. They're auxiliary to a main verb. Also, the main verb is the infinitive form of the verb. That's not with the to in front of it, so it's just got the main verb. Like instead of to go, it would be go. Here's an example. We would go to the party, but we're on vacation and away next week. In that sentence, would is the modal auxiliary verb. It appears first, and it's followed by go, the infinitive form of the verb go, the main verb. To put modal auxiliary verbs in the past tense, you just need to introduce the verb have, and it comes right after the modal auxiliary verb. So you have the modal auxiliary verb first, then you have the word or the verb have, and after that you have the past participle form of the main verb. So in a sentence like this, he should have gone there, you'll see that subject comes first, then we have should, the modal auxiliary verb, followed by have, and then gone, the past participle form of the main verb. One exception is the modal auxiliary verb can. In the past tense, you don't say he can have gone there. You have to change can to could. So that sentence in the past would be he could have gone there. Could, the modal auxiliary verb, past form of can, followed by have, and then the past participle of the main verb. To put a modal auxiliary verb sentence in the negative, you just need to introduce the word not right after the modal auxiliary verb. So he should go there would become he should not go there. And that can be contracted to he shouldn't go there. The exception to this is may. For the modal auxiliary verb may, there is no form mayn't in the negative. You have to say may not. So he may not go there, not he mayn't. For yes/no questions, all you need to do is change the position of the subject and the modal auxiliary verb. So he should go there. To form that into a question, you just take the should and put it at the front of the sentence before the subject, and it becomes, should he go there? Modal auxiliary verbs can be used to make something more polite, and they can also make something you say simpler. If you wanted to say something like, you are wrong, that's quite blunt and quite direct. But in English, we often soften that with a modal auxiliary verb like could. We could say, could you have made a mistake? And that just makes it more polite. You could also use modal auxiliary verbs to express something much more simply. As an example, if you have a sentence like this one, yesterday, when I had the chance to go to St. John, I wish I had taken the opportunity. A modal auxiliary verb could take care of a lot of that by just saying, yesterday, I should have gone to St. John. And in this case, the modal auxiliary verb actually gives you a sense of regret. You wish that you had done something. The simple future, future continuous, future perfect, and future perfect continuous tenses all use the auxiliary verb will to construct a future tense. So if you want to express some modal thing like permission, politeness, request, something like that, then you need to find a way to do it that doesn't use the auxiliary verb will. An example would be, she will visit next week if her car is repaired. If you want to change that to be a modal auxiliary verb type of sentence with politeness, permission, request, or something like that, you need to change the sentence and not use the auxiliary verb will. So you could say something like, she can visit if her car is repaired. Or she should be able to visit if her car is repaired. It's difficult to communicate in English without using modal auxiliary verbs, but luckily it's actually quite easy to use them in the present simple tense, and they can also make it easier to say or write things. Check my podcasts for more lessons about modal auxiliary verbs. There are a lot of them, and they're very useful. Until next time.